Hello and welcome to my garden and the dinosaurs who live there. We're on Sunday the 4th of Feb. It's a mild day, but it's a bit drizzly and I think it's going to get heavier. The rain's going to get heavier as we go through the day. But what I thought I'd do is grab this opportunity to do some work in the garden. So I'm sitting here next to what I call the middle bed in the fruit and veg growing area in the garden. And last year I had beetroot and chard and lettuce and a whole variety of things in here. But I'm going to change things around a little bit. This bed actually gets really quite a lot of sun. But the bed over there, I think you can probably see. Hattie, get out of that pot. Out the pot. Hang on. Out of the pot. Thank you. Chickens are out. Yeah, so there's a bed over here that was one of the original beds I put together actually, and in there are strawberries. Now that bed, whilst it gets sun at the start and the end of the day, it doesn't, there's quite a large period during the day that it doesn't get sun. So my plan is to move the strawberries from that bed into this bed. I'm not planning on taking up the whole of this bed with strawberries, maybe half of it, and then I'll have the other half for putting some other things in. And that will then leave me this bed, which is slightly more shaded, as I said, for veg that doesn't mind having a bit of shade. Could be lettuces, could be some brassicas, I'm not quite sure, I'll have a think about that. But the plan today, in between showers, is to get the strawberries out of that bed, plonk them in this bed. Now, what I did after I weeded this bed, it needed quite a bit of weeding, is I added a couple of new bags of compost. I also have some fertiliser, some chicken manure pellets that I'm going to pop in here as well. And that will just make sure that there's plenty of nutrients in here for the strawberries as they grow on through the year. So let me get started in that and you can see how I get on. Okay, so here's the pellets that I'm going to put into the bed. I'll just throw it in and just basically go over and mix it in a little bit over the top of the top areas of the compost. So give it a little tickle in. Right. So here's the existing strawberry bed. You can see it's a little bit of a mess with grass and weeds and such like there. But once I dig out each of the strawberry plants, I'll try and make sure there's no grass etc. attached to the roots. I'll tidy them up and pop them into the new bed. So here we have the first plant that I've pulled out. I had to cut it a little bit because there was some runners off it that had rooted, so I've separated it from the runners. I'm going to cut off all the sort of brown stems and leaves there to tidy it up before I position it in the bed where I'm going to plant it. Some of these actually are runners of the main plants, so these can go in as well. My main plants are actually only a year old, they were new last year. So I'm wondering if I can get away with having 3 in a row there, because 2 of these are quite small. Aww. Let's just have a think. What would 2 look like? I'm probably better just having 2 like that. Let's pop them in. I'm being careful not to cover the top of the plant here. There's actually some fresh leaves just coming out, so I'm not wanting to bury it too deeply. Same with this one. Right, I think it's getting quite heavy rain wise, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop you under cover and I'll bring you back once I'm a bit further on in the process. Okay, it turns out I had loads more strawberries than I realised. This is only some of them, so I've ended up making this whole bed a strawberry bed. So there's 12 plants in there. Probably a little bit too much, but some of them are runners that came off the mature plants from last year. And the last thing I'll have to do is put some protection around this so the chickens cannot get in and scratch it up. And I'm just looking out the side of my eye. And this is exactly why. My rhubarb is doing great. It started showing and I plonked some compost on it to try and cover it up a little bit more, and it's come up again, but you can see that the blooming chickens have been in here. So again, I'll need to put some protection around this so they can't get in and dig. As soon as they see fresh compost or freshly exposed compost, that's them. So yeah, I want to make sure that my rhubarb doesn't get scalped. Similarly, I want to make sure that my strawberries don't get scalped, so that will be a project probably for another day, since it's chucking it down with rain, and in the meantime I'll just need to keep my eye on the girls when they're out and about. Now, as for the original strawberry bed, there's a bit of work needed here. There's still some strawberries in there, some strawberry plants, strawberry runners, but there's quite a lot of weeds and grass and such like in here, so I'm going to have to do a bit of maintenance work on this to try and clear it up before before it's ready for planting in the spring. Anyway, I think that's me for now, because I'm getting wetter and wetter. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I will talk to you again very, very soon. Bye bye for now.